Going once, going twice, 3 times with no one here. Can we close the reasonable opportunity for the public to be heard? We'll do so. And now, colleagues, do you have any items to pull, anything that you want to discuss? It's a really short agenda.
I move to set the agenda.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All right. So, with that, do you want to discuss anything, or do you just want to move all the items?
Madam Chair, I'd like to discuss 2A. I don't necessarily want to pull it,
That's fine.
but I do have a few questions, please.
Of course, by all means.
At this time?
Yeah, at this time, go ahead.
Thank you. So I read the item, and I just want to understand whether or not our Water and Sewer Department has the capacity to accomplish what is being asked in
mean
this
waste?
item. Whether they have the capacity within the department to measure by residents, whether or not a residence is a vacation or a primary residence, the amount of waste that is being output at each individual residences. So 2 parts: the distinction between vacation and primary residence, and the ability to measure individual residences the way that the item calls for.
So I'll let staff, but first I'll explain, since I'm the maker. What we currently, our contracts do not have cameras, so we do not measure waste as it is picked up. However, we do have a list of vacation rentals, and that's what the item speaks to. We have not looked at that list. They have to register with us. As you know, we are preempted by the state to regulate in this area. So the idea is to work with the solid waste department to see what could be done, whether physical inspections or just gathering data. That's why it mentions the recycling. The recycling items that we passed several, now it's over a year, but the regulations that we passed 2.5 years ago actually does penalize folks that use recycling incorrectly. So to look at that data. So we do have the recycling data because that's happening in real time. On the waste data, we could pull up, once we look at the registry, if they're requesting more bulky trash pickup. And then in terms of what's happening at the trash cans, we would have to decide if we want to send code enforcement or if we want to get cameras, depending on the locations. So that's really what the item is asking the administration to do, to consider all those things. They have data to 2 of the 3. Other counties and municipalities have done it. I have been speaking with several of my municipalities that pick up their own trash, and they are measuring it, and they are seeing that it's a difference. I can tell you at the city of Miami, one of the biggest problems that they have with recycling is this, and it makes sense. So right now we're educating folks on recycling and trash, but if they are not here for the education, a trash can is a trash can if you're from another state, right? And that's one of the things that the municipalities that do their own trash are seeing. So this is just starting the conversation. But obviously, if the department wants to speak on it, come on down. But those are my points as the drafter.
Good morning, Anisha Daniel, through the chair, Department Director for Solid Waste. So thank you for the question and this item of interest. This item, right now, with the recycling contract that we just put into place and it was activated in April of this year, it allowed, or at least mandated, that the trucks have AI capacity. So that AI capacity does have the ability to actually identify the wrong items that are being recycled, and we're able to actually provide some information, and that's going to help us to reduce contamination. It's also going to help us to actually identify who those customers are, go back and provide them with citations, and to provide them with additional educational material so that they can recycle right. On the waste side, we do not have that capacity right now. We actually are doing some research and looking at other models, such as pay-as-you-throw, which some other cities use, and just trying to figure out some of the other methods that we can do to provide some additional information when it comes to the tonnage that's coming into our system.
And Madam Director, so this item would ask you to take the information that we're getting on the recycling and tie it with the list from RER of the homes that are doing this type of use, right? So right now, that's not included. This item would do that. So I don't know if that answers your question, or if you have some others.
Thank you, through the chair, and thank you for being here. I appreciate the response, but I'm not sure that it entirely answers my question. So does your department have the capacity to determine on an individual residence basis, whether it's a vacation home or a rental home, and then measure the output of waste from each of those residences? Because that's what I understand the item is asking us to do, to see whether or not there is an additional amount of waste coming from
We do it for
those.
recycling, but currently not for all waste. But recycling we do because that contract includes AI. The regular recycling contract does not include AI, which is why I said that we would have to decide what our next steps are. We're looking at AI for our regular trash, but we could also do inspections once we know the universe of homes that is registered, because we know exactly who's registered. So it's just a matter of figuring out their trash.
Sure, I understand that we have a list of vacation homes. From the functional perspective of the department and our trucks going and picking up trash, putting it in, and somehow weighing it to give a report back to this board that says this is the amount of trash coming from vacation rentals, that's the capacity that I don't understand.
We do not have that capacity to do that at this time, and we actually are working with RER to get that list of vacation rental homes, which we know, I think, working with Lourdes, I think it's about 900 plus. We do know that all individuals are not registered, so that's an additional issue that we would have to deal with. But right now, on our solid waste side, we do not have the capacity to do measure how much waste is coming in by home.
Okay, and so that's my question to the maker. Is it just on recycling that you're measuring, or are you asking them to measure everything in addition to recycling?
I'm asking them to come back and give us options for everything, because like we said, we're looking at AI for everything. We're looking at different options, and we also have code enforcement that we can use given once we know how many homes. So we do have options. We just haven't decided on that. This item comes from my deep dive into all things trash, and one of the things that I think is happening in this county that is improper is we charge everyone the same for trash, irrespective of the size of their home or the amount of trash that they are collecting. We are changing that on the recycling side because I was able to add AI to that contract. And now the question is, as we start getting more sophisticated on the trash side, what are our options? So one of the items that we already approved that we're working on is changing the mini dumps, right? And giving people opportunities to throw their trash away differently. So that may be a solution to this problem. What I'm asking the administration to do is to work with RER and get that list and at least start working through that. I know on the recycling side, it's going to be a lot easier. But at least on the other side, to start working through what our options are and come back to the board with that. Yes, Commissioner Steinberg?
Yes, I will be supportive today because I do believe that we're asking for exploration.
Right.
And anytime I see anything, and I know the attorneys are that says vacation rental, I mean, we always have so many issues in my district specifically, and we get a lot of complaints. And this might end up being a solution that actually helps not just with our reduction of waste, but also potentially on the behavior
Yes.
that comes along with some of these vacation rentals. So I think it's really important to explore, but we also need to know as Commissioner Cohen, we need to know what is realistic and what is feasible for us to be able to implement, but I'd like to see all options.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. With that, do you want to vote individually on them, or do you want to vote on the entire agenda?
Happy to move the entire agenda.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? All right, ladies. Well, thank you very much. If you want a short meeting, no men. Have a great day, guys.
Are also part of the Water Use Efficiency Plan. Miami-Dade County residents and businesses with odd-numbered addresses may water their property Wednesdays and Saturdays. Even-numbered addresses may water Thursdays and Sundays. No watering is allowed between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We need your help to conserve water every day. Every drop counts.
If you haven't been to a park lately, it's time to rediscover parks. Rediscover adventure. Rediscover nature. Rediscover outdoor sports and fitness. It's time to rediscover all the fun and diverse activities Miami-Dade parks have to offer. Learn how you can live a park life by visiting miamidade.gov/parks. Si hace tiempo que no vas a los parques, te invitamos a redescubrirlos. Redescubre la aventura, la naturaleza, los deportes y el ejercicio físico al aire libre. Es hora de redescubrir todas las actividades divertidas que ofrecen los parques de Miami-Dade. Descubre cómo vivir la vida al aire libre en miamidade.gov/parks.
Si vous pas allé dans pas quelque temps, c'est moment pour redécouvrir parc yo. Redécouvrir aventure, redécouvrir la nature, redécouvrir sport avec exercice physique dehors. Redécouvrir tout amusement avec diverses activités parc Miami. Apprendre qui j'en vivre une vie dans parc divertissement, alors visitez miamidade.gov/parks.
The Miami-Dade County Office of the Inspector General is an important part of Miami-Dade County. Do you know what the Miami-Dade County OIG does? The OIG is responsible for detecting, investigating, and preventing fraud, waste, mismanagement, misconduct, and abuse of power through independent oversight of county affairs, and seek appropriate remedies to recover public monies. The OIG conducts independent audits, investigations, and inspections and evaluations throughout Miami-Dade County. Did you know that Miami-Dade County has more than 30,000 employees and a budget of $10 billion? With only 42 employees, the OIG helps ensure responsible conduct and recovers millions of taxpayers' dollars every year, and helps Miami-Dade County government make more informed decisions. You can report allegations of waste, fraud, or abuse to the Miami-Dade County OIG website at www.miamidadeig.org, by mail or in person at 601 Northwest 1st Court, South Tower, 22nd floor, Miami, Florida 33136, or by calling the hotline at 305-579-2593.
In a world ruled by nature.
I'm Captain Baywatch, and I love the Bay.